Good afternoon, my name is Thomas J. Wagner, and I'm the affirmative on the side of the editorial Making It Safer to Fly, which was written in 2001. And first I'd like to say that we're taking this in the context of the time that the article was written. Now, we resolve that there should be a greater effort, cooperation, and research into assuring the safety of passengers on aircraft. Now, our first point is that these terrorist problems that we're having on aircraft, and the reason why security needs to be tightened in the first place, is that these problems are nothing new. In 1988, terrorists were able to sneak a bomb on a plane leaving from Heathrow, coming to JFK in New York, which is only a couple miles away from my own house. And it blew up over southern Scotland, killing 258 people, 3 of which were children, and killed 11 people on the ground. Now, the second point is that Heathrow is actually learning from mistakes like this, and they're actually more advanced than us in their security systems. They are actually working with iris reading systems to do background checks to speed up the process of the check-in. And now, the opposing side may bring up the cost factor of this, but airports like JFK, for example, generate $30 billion a year in revenue, and an iris retina scanner only costs $3,700 each. So I think that's a pretty small price to pay for your life. Don't you think? Now, the third point I want to make is governmental squabbles. The Bush administration, the Senate had proposed a bill with things saying that we need to fortify cockpit doors, have air marshals on airplanes, things of this nature to help ensure our safety. And the Bush administration beat around the bush with it. Republicans, Democrats fought over it. Couldn't decide on what we wanted to do a month after 9/11. A month after 9/11, this should have been done a week after 9/11. We just got attacked, and 3,500 people were killed on that day. This should be unanimous. There shouldn't be any debate. Thank you.
Thank you. Question?
Why should we have to continue to pay for a faulty system that has been promised for over a decade?
Well, that's the whole point that I'm arguing. That question isn't relevant at all because I'm arguing that it should be improved and not faulty any longer.
But the improvement itself would come at a cost. According to the article, it states that citizens would have to pay $250 to have their bags checked, or $250 or even more just for a screening procedure. That alone should come free. Why would we have to pay for our own safety?
So you really think paying $2.50 for your life is a problem?
Why should I even have to pay $1 for my safety?
Because that's the federal government taking over the private-owned corporations who run the security of airports.
We just want a question and an answer. Question and an answer.
Got it.
Okay, is that it? Is that your answer?
Well, the reason why she brought up the $250 thing, why should we have to pay for that? Because the federal government is trying to step in and replace these private companies that are obviously not doing the right thing. Don't you think?
Okay, 2 minutes.
Okay. The negative has resolved that the cost required to provide the security that the affirmative has stated does not satisfy the outcome. The incorporation of OCR system that has been used to improve the screening technology that is used in airport has cost between $3,000 to over $10,000. Point B, $250 per ticket for surcharge for tighter security is why should we even have to pay for $250 or more for our own security when the government itself has taken money out of our taxes and we have to pay $250 or more? That is double the expenditure. Point C, in the article it states that the United States has over 140 major airports that cannot be compared to smaller nations. We're using England itself as a smaller nation that has only 48 airports, a security that is not even as austere as the ones in the United States. We should focus on nations like China, Russia, and India that have better technological influences and also have a big population as that ones in the United States. We should do it as a system that is productive, that is free of charge.
Thank you. Quick question?
Yeah. You're complaining that you have to spend $250 for safety. If you could afford to fly, then you could afford $2.50. Not only that, but you're asking, why should we have to pay for our safety? You can't expect safety to be completely free. That's impossible.
But they're taking money.
All right, you have one. You want to do it from there? Go on.
Okay. But we're spending money already. They're taking money out of our taxes for these investments in technology that are supposedly keeping us safe. right? So then I have to take $250 to spend on a technology that's not even functioning correctly?
Okay, we got 1 minute now for each side.
It's not.
Start now?
Wait, can I tell him something before he goes?
No, let's go. We don't have time.
All right. In the Constitution, it says strictly, right in the Constitution, that the federal government has complete control over interstate commerce. And now you're complaining about that you have to pay a price for safety, but how could you put a price on people's lives? The cost of a bomb going off in an airplane or at an airport, anything like that, is more costly than actually putting in security measures. You got to take inside the plane, whatever damages from the plane, and also the people's lives, most importantly. The $250 surcharge, like we said before, it's only $2.50 just to get 30,000 airport marshals hired to protect. So instead of buying a Starbucks coffee in the morning, you could afford $2.50.
Thank you. 1 minute for negative closing statement.
Okay, Dan? All right, to address the issues that they said, first of all, we got to take a step back. In order to understand what's going on now and what's going to be going on in the future, we have to look at what happened in the past. Specifically 2001, 9/11. All right, these guys are making empty promises. Security has not achieved the standards travelers have demanded over the past couple of years. Prime example is, I don't know if you mentioned this before, the bomb, the 747 that exploded over Scotland, that was 13 years before 9/11.
And only a few years before the first one.
13 years before 9/11. And, after something like that, you would figure that the government would go, step in, do what they're planning to do now and, do it ahead of time. But no, of course not. They had to wait until 2,000 plus people had to die in our own country before they go ahead and take measures. A second point that he was making earlier was the retina scanners. Why are we going ahead and jacking ideas from other countries that are, way smaller than the U.S.? Go ahead. We have the money. We have the resources. We need to go ahead and...
See, I wasn't sure about that last argument.